This is section 2.1. This is part 4. For this problem, 0, of course, does not simplify. I have some distributions here. Now, order of operations says that I should try to combine these first because they're in parentheses, but I don't have like terms in here, so I can't do that. So we use the distribution property, and some teachers call this the rainbow property. You take this, and we are going to multiply the -5 each of these. Technically, there's a 1 right there as a multiplier, and technically you're distributing a +1 here, but multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, so there's not really anything to do there. We can just drop the parentheses. -5 times 3w. -5 times 3. A negative times a positive is negative. 5 times 3 is 15, so that's 15w. -5 times a -3, or minus a +3. But the negative times a negative, remember, a subtraction and a negative are very closely related. -5 times -3 is going to be +15. And then I'm going to bring down the rest of this. Now I'm still on the same side of the equal sign here. I'm not ready to move things around because I have some like terms here. -15w and 16w, they're both w, so I can add the numbers in front. -15 plus 16 is 1, so that is 1w. And then 15 plus 1 is 16. So 1w plus 16 is equal to 0. Now, this side is as good as it gets. I have a 0 over here. I want to get that 16 away from the w, so I need to undo that. To undo that, subtract 16 from both sides, and you end up with w equals -16. Okay. So let's try this problem here. I have parentheses here. Technically, this is a 1 here, and this is a 1 here. Now, this is a +1. Multiplying by +1 doesn't change anything. This, however, this is a -1. And negative ones do matter when you distribute, because when you're multiplying by a negative number, it changes the sign. So technically, I have 1 times 8r, which is 8r, 1 times -3, minus 3. -1 times 7r is -7r. -1 times 1 is -1, and that equals -6. Now combine like terms. I have 8r minus 7r, that gives me 1r. I have -3 minus 1, which is -4, and that equals -6. 1r is just r. I want to get this -4 over to the right-hand side. So I need to add 4 to both sides. And remember, I'm using opposite signs only when I have to move it across the equal sign. I get r equals, that canceled, -6 plus 4 would be -2. Your answer there is -2. Let's work this one. I have simplifications to do on both sides. I have distributions here and here, and also here. So let's talk about these multiplications. Okay, so I have -5 times +1, -5. -5 times -2z is positive, because 2 negatives multiplied is a positive. 5 times 2 is 10, z. Notice how I put a line through my z? That's because my 2's tend to look a lot like my z's. My z's will always have a little line through them. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times, remember that's a -1. 4 times -1z is -4z. Equal to 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times z, that's a 1z, 7 times 1z is positive 7z. Now if you're wondering why I put a line through my 7, I don't know. I picked up that habit from a professor many years ago, and I don't even remember when or how. So this side, we would combine like terms if we could, but we don't have any. Here we do. 10z minus 4z would be 6z. Negative 5 plus 12 is 7. So 6z plus 7 equal to 21 plus 7z. Now, each side is as simple as it gets. Now we need to start moving things around. I want to get my z's together, so either I want to move the 6z over to the right or the 7z over to the left. It does not matter. So let's just say we move this over here. This is a positive 6z, so I'm going to subtract 6z from both sides. That cancels. I have a 7 here, equal to 21. 7z minus 6z is 1z. And you can drop the 1 whenever you are ready. Now to get the z alone, I need to move this over to here. So I subtract 21 from both sides. 7 minus 21 will be negative 14, equal to, that canceled out, z. So your answer there is negative 14.